So this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm on my way to Savannah, Georgia, again to visit my son before he deploys overseas, and he's stationed at Fort Stewart. And I used to be stationed there too. I was stationed there between 1999 and 2005. So about 6 years I was there at Fort Stewart. And I went back and forth between Alabama and Fort Stewart a lot, and I always saw the sign for Cockran, Georgia off of I-16. And I knew from the stories that my grandfather, my mom's dad, grew up in Cockran, Georgia. Now, I've never been to Cockran, Georgia. And every time that I've driven through here, which has been a lot, like I said, I was stationed at Stewart for 6 years, and I came a couple times to see my son since then. I've never stopped. I've never been to Cockran, Georgia. So I finally looked it up, and it's not very far off the interstate, so I'll go right by it, I think. And I'm going to try to stop in there. I'm going to go through there at least on the way this time, because that's been the issue. Every time I go through, I'm always in a hurry to get either to Fort Stewart or back to Alabama. And I always have the intention of going through Cockran just because my grandfather's from there. He grew up there. So I'm going to at least drive through there. I have never met his parents. Haven't even heard a whole lot about them. I know they are from Cockran, Georgia, and last name Clark. That's my mom's maiden name. So I did I did some looking on Find a Grave, and my grandfather's parents aren't listed as his parents. Usually that's a good way to find them, but he don't have his parents listed on his Find a Grave site. So anyway, I just looked at one of the bigger cemeteries in Cockran and found some Clarks, and I think some of the names kind of match up. I don't know it. I don't know the names. I may call my mom before I get there and see if she remembers. She probably does, and she may know more about it. But I'm thinking about maybe looking for those grave sites, and very possibly it could be my grandparents or aunts and uncles or something like that. But so it may be a little weird, because I may go visit the grave first and then find out later who they were, and maybe somebody's not even related to me. I mean, there's a lot of Clarks out there. But either way, visiting the grave sites of people is not bad, no matter if they're related to you or not. So if I feel like I got the time and can find it, I believe the cemetery they're in is a pretty big cemetery. If that's even them. Like I said, I don't even know if that's my grandparents. I think the dates kind of match up, because I think they were alive up until I was born in '70, and the woman that I found that might be my great grandmother could be. I think died in 1970, which is when I was born. I think that's about the same time. But like I said, never met these set of grandparents, and honestly never heard much about them, or nothing that I can remember. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm partaking in, and I'll put the grave on here if I find it, and I'll also put on here what I find out about it afterwards. So anyway, either way, I'm going through Cockran where my grandfather grew up. So I'll be driving the streets that he grew up in. Cockran, Georgia is a city in Bleckley County, Georgia. As of the 2010 census, the city had a population of 5,150 people. It's a very small town. The city is the county seat of Bleckley County. Cockran is named for Judge Arthur E. Cockran and was incorporated on March 19, 1869. Judge Cockran was largely instrumental in developing this section of Georgia through his work as president of the Macon and Brunswick Railroad, now the Southern Railway. Once known as Dykesboro, Cockran was settled by B.B. Dykes who owned the site on which the town was built. The earliest settlers located here to work in the turpentine industry. Cockran is home to Bleckley County High School and Middle Georgia State University. 3 properties in Cockran are listed on the National Register of Historic Places: the Bleckley County Courthouse in Courthouse Square, the Cockran Municipal Building and School at the junction of Dykes and 2nd Street, and Hillcrest at 706 Beach Street. So this is Cockran, Georgia, where my grandfather grew up. Not wanting to spend a lot of time here. I'm trying to hurry up and get and see my son at Fort Stewart. So I think what I'm going to do is go get him and see if he don't mind riding back here with me to help me look for the graves of my great-grandparents and his great-great-grandparents. Be a good way for us to spend time with each other and talk about family and this and that, and see him before he deploys overseas. So anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do. Without wasting too much time here that I could be spending with him, I'm going to go pick him up, and we will come back here and attempt to locate our grandparents. So I went and picked my son up at Fort Stewart. He's right here. And we went back to Cockran, Georgia, and my mom did confirm that the 2 people that I thought may be my grandparents are probably my grandparents. And so they're buried here in this huge graveyard. And we just spent the last hour and a half probably looking at all the graves. If we missed one, I don't know which one we missed. I'm sure they're still in here, but we didn't find them. So maybe some other time. I think they're here. I just don't think we found them. Anyway, unsuccessful and successful. The people I found were my grandparents. Ones I found on Find a Grave, but I wasn't able to find the grave. That's crazy. So a little bit of an update. I went to Cockran, Georgia to find my great-grandparents' grave and was unsuccessful and did not find it. Even though I found their names on Find a Grave just by chance. Anyway, I did talk to my Uncle Wade, and he told me that he thinks I was in the right place. I had the names of my grandparents right. So I'm at least looking in the right place, and he gave me a little bit of, he said, the grave is close to a cedar tree. It's in towards the middle. It's not on the outside, the outskirts of it. So I got a little bit more to go off of. My uncle did say that the Cedar Hill Cemetery that I was looking in is not what it was called all the time. He thinks it was a Cockran City Cemetery. So I don't know if the cemetery name changed, or maybe he didn't realize that was the name of this cemetery at first. Anyway, I'm going to be sharing this video to some of my Facebook groups about cemeteries. And even though there's not a lot of cemetery footage in this video, if anybody knows a better way of locating graves within a graveyard that I'm not aware of, leave it in the comment section below. And anyway, I'll be back to go find them. I'm sure I was there. I probably walked right by it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.